My wonderful life just got set on fire. I just caught my wife and partner of 10 years cheating. Part 2. Almost 3 weeks later. 6 Confirmation. I wake up this past Saturday with a gut-wrenching visions of my wife with someone else, and on the morning of one of the biggest events my company hosts all year. I can't shake the thoughts despite the brevity of the day ahead. The hotel incident has been killing me for weeks. My wife leaves for the gym with our kids, something we used to do together, and I leave for work. In the chaos of setting up what should be a huge, successful event at my business, all this stuff is boiling within me. I feel so messed up. I want to leave and be home with my family to prove that I don't work too much, to prove that I love them and want the best for them. Then I try to do something I've been wanting to do for almost 3 weeks. I call the hotel. Praying and praying that if I am given any kind of information, that it reveals her female co-worker was indeed the one who booked the room. I hang up on the second ring. On second thought, I didn't want to know. Or did I already know? I had to get back to work. This whole day, by the way, my wife is with the kids. Day ends, I feel wrong that I don't hurry back to her, despite maybe having a chance of getting home in time to see her before bed. Sunday morning. We have plans to go to her brother's for football. I have to run into work, not typical on weekends, to deal with some aftermath of the event from the day before. She leaves for the gym with plans to pick me up at my business so we can ride to her brother's together. I start packing up and then look over at her iPad. It was practically screaming at me. Do it. Maybe there's something there. I open her iPad and sit down. I feel so wrong doing this, but I also know that I've somehow been so much more wrong than anything I'm about to do. She had since figured out how to sign out of iCloud and stop texts from coming in, so no luck there, but an obvious sign of hiding something. I look at her boss's contact card and see she was sharing her location on off with him the night before. WTF? I open her photo stream, nothing weird there. I scroll down the albums. I open deleted photos. Here we go. Underwear photos the day after we returned from the beach vacation, and the morning before her return to work. I can only assume she sent them to her boss, because I didn't get them. This is far out of her typical safe zone, so now the intensity and level of their relationship is starting to hit me. And then I see what appears as an accidental screenshot that she took of a text exchange with her boss, the day before the hotel. The gist is how they are planning to have lunch or something together, mixed into a swath of hearts with the kicker from the boss: "I've been waiting to see you since last Friday when you left. I'm waiting for you, babe." I look in her browsing history on her iPad. I see a Google search for how to say "one more day" in Spanish, searched for the day of the panty pictures, and the day before we returned to work. It reminded of how she would flirt with me back when we started out, more than 10 years ago. Someone else gets to experience that now. I am absolutely convinced at this point, and the 2 months of my denying and avoiding the obvious have no more fight in this. My life is about to change forever. I drive to my business and she meets me there later as planned with the kids. We hang out for a bit, but I am still in shock. She knows something is wrong and keeps asking. We drive to her brother's almost silently. The whole visit is incredibly awkward because I am just stewing in this realization, attempting to process, while she sits there, seemingly terrified of what's to come. I text a partner of mine. A gentleman I am involved in business with, and who happens to be a partner at one of the area's most reputable law firms. He's known as one of the top divorce attorneys in the state. Hey, maybe he can help. He calls me right away and I step outside. I walk him through as much as I can, stutter out in a panic. He calms me down, and tells me that the only thing to do is to get her alone and put all the cards on the table. In the end, it doesn't matter how they got there, what matters is what's on them. 7 Partial confession and where I am right now. After speaking with my attorney, we eventually head back home. Nothing is said. The tension is impossible. Finally, after I am sure the kids are asleep, I sit and wait in the kitchen. I ask her, as I did in 5, where is our marriage headed? I state that her and her boss have something going on, and from the information I now have, it is indisputable. She kind of breaks down, but no tears. Before admitting anything, She immediately begins saying that she has felt disconnected from me this summer. You think? The first incident here, completely out of character, happened in the first week of June. These have been monthly all summer and since she started working with this guy. She goes on to say that they spend time together. Nothing admitted. I ask the questions point blank. Have you had time with him? No, of course not. Has anything happened? No. I ask again. She finally admits they kissed. I let this set in. I ask her where. She fumbles around her mind, but I can tell it's pretend. She says after work. I ask again, where? She can't get it out. I say, were you at a hotel? Yes. Was he there? Yes. Was your co-worker there? No. So you went to a hotel with your boss, and kissed? Yes. But that's it. Nothing else happened. Well, what else did you do then? We talked. We talked about all of this. Adults don't kiss. They have time. You didn't go to the hotel to kiss. She doesn't deny this, but she denies anything further happening. She says that she couldn't do it. She just couldn't bring herself to doing it, like it actually matters now. We went back and forth about this, with no yelling or shouting, just awful. The entire time she is saying I want you. I want this. I want US. I don't know what the hell I was doing. She admits that, despite some disconnect caused by her, she will come to learn, there was nothing significantly wrong with our marriage. We vacationed, made love, grew our children, dated, etc. After about 30 minutes, it all hit me like a ton of bricks. Wait. You asked me to leave my job early to pick up our children, from the after-school program at the very place you work at with this guy, so that you could leave work early, to go to a hotel with him, where you two planned to have time. And on our son's first day of kindergarten I actually left that part out. I recall the text message from 6. He has been waiting for her. They planned to have time. I recall the old too, but I failed to bring it up. I recall the hotel being mentioned while on vacation the week before. This was in the works while we sat on the beach together with her family. It was not spur of the moment. The conversation goes nowhere but further into this new hell that I have just inhabited, the last place on earth I want to be. We go to bed. She cuddles me and it's disgusting. I feel infected, violated, ruined, and motionless. It stops, I lie awake for 3 hours, then hop onto the internet, desperately searching for success stories where couples come back from this. There are none. It's all about how to realize the situation, how it will never work again, and that it's time to move on, regardless of money, kids, love, history. Just awful, hopeless. I start contemplating divorce, then realize I am 5 hours into a sleepless night, just hit by a freight train, and not a clean thought in my head. She wakes and asks me what I am doing and I don't have much to say. Then I ask her about 2 finally, which would confirm my earliest suspicions, and nullify her claims that this just started. I tell her that I knew her car was at that facility. She admitted to meeting with him and said that they only talked in the car. I can only imagine. Another detail left out, and a revelation that this is much more long-standing. Morning. She hops in the shower and I completely break down. I held it together all through the night, but I just imploded as soon as I sat up. I finally noticed one of my sons was up and on the PD in the other room. He's been doing a great job training and I feared that he heard me weeping. I wipe my eyes, walk into the bathroom to see if he needs help, and for the first time in my life, my knees gave out completely. I dropped to the floor and sobbed in front of him. The sight of one of our innocent sons, completely oblivious in all his perfect, moldable youth, just wrecked me. Who can be so careless, so completely narcissistically motivated, that this beautiful child we are responsible for could be forgotten for some meaningless time? My other son comes in and sees his father sobbing on his knees, holding his youngest. What in the hell has happened to my life? It all just changed in an instant. I held those boys so tight as I realized the tables had turned. I've held them so many times as they cried, but this was the first time those little boys held me. What a dramatic moment, but it felt good to know that while I've lost her, I still have them. Finally, I pull it together and go downstairs to make coffee. She has no idea what I'm going to do. At one point in the middle of the sleepless night from hell, I said that I am beginning to think that I can't get over this. That everything we have built together is for nothing. I hinted at divorce, but I have no clue what to do. We somehow ate breakfast together with our children, awkwardly, trying to come to grips with the unknown ahead of us. Afterwards, my wife and I embraced. We held each other tight and sobbed without the kids seeing. She knows how severe this is. I saw her off to work with our youngest, and I said that it would take a miracle to fix this. I have no trust whatsoever, and it is going to be incredibly difficult to grow that again. It took 10 years for us to get this far and we just drove off a cliff. She again said she wants nothing more than our children, our marriage, and our life. She is going to have to pull me out of hell. I walked my eldest son down to his school where he had just started kindergarten 3 weeks prior, on the day my wife planned her hotel's time trip with her boss. It took every ounce of energy I had left to not start sobbing like a fool again. I watched this beautiful little being reluctantly run off into the playground, checking to make sure I was still there every few steps. He loves me so much. I watched all the parents coming in, some together and holding hands. I can't believe what my life has become in the last 12 hours. Update: I completely failed to mention that my wife said she has been struggling with this for a while. It's only been a couple of weeks since the last known incident at the hotel, so not that long. She says that she has canceled an upcoming business trip to California with him, that I have absolutely been dreading. She also said that she is withdrawing from the program that has required her to work closely with him. They will be on opposite ends of the building. None of this really means much to me, and here I stand. The thought of splitting up is more painful to me than the thought of living with this right now. I can't focus. I can't work. I can't eat. Do I let the dust settle? Do we try to make this work? Is counseling worth a shot? How can I possibly trust her ever again? This was the cruelest thing ever done to me. It's a life-ruining thing, happening without any awareness of that. How can we possibly be in love? She says that she loves me. Are the months of lies and deceit worse than the acts? She definitely had time with this guy, right? Of course. There is no way she can prove otherwise. Does she need to see a psychiatrist? How did I miss this? This is not the person I married or the person I know and love. Where did this reckless fool come from? Do I tell the boss's wife? Do I tell her parents whom I am close with? Do I inform her work? Redditor's reactions. Redditor 3, to answer your questions in the order they were asked. Do I let the dust settle? No. You want to file ASAP while she's still in the affair fog. You'll get a better settlement that way. Do we try to make this work? Absolutely not. She has given you nothing but trickle truth and minimizing. I know this all too well, because I was in your shoes. Is counseling worth a shot? Considering 100% of the work here is on her, and she still hasn't given you the full truth, there's no way counseling is even worth the money and time. How can I possibly trust her ever again? This was the cruelest thing ever done to me. It's a life-ruining thing, happening without any awareness of that. You can't, and if you do, you're naive. Again, I've been there. How can we possibly be in love? She says that she loves me. She loves the stability you provide. Love is an action, and her actions have shown that she does not love you. Are the months of lies and deceit worse than the acts? 6 is one and half a dozen's the other. Both suck pretty much equally. She definitely had time with this guy, right? Of course. There is no way she can prove otherwise. 99.9999% certain, yes. Does she need to see a psychiatrist? Yes, she does, but this is her business. Your job is to take care of yourself and your kids. How did I miss this? You're a person with integrity, her mentality doesn't make sense to people like you. This is not the person I married or the person I know and love. Where did this reckless fool come from? 2 things. 1, she is and has probably always been selfish. 2, the person you love is not the real her, but an imagined idealized version of her. Do I tell the boss's wife? Yes, but wait until you talk to your lawyer. You might be able to leverage this for a better divorce settlement, in which case, tell her as soon as you can after the divorce or when your lawyer gives you the go-ahead. Whichever comes first, do I tell her parents whom I am close with? Your call. Most people here would say yes. Do I inform her work? No. Absolutely not. She needs to be employed when you get divorced, or your child support payments will be significantly higher. I'm sorry you're here. I relate so strongly with the anxiety you felt in your story. I've been there, and I'm on the other side of divorce. I can tell you it is so much better than the distrust.